This is week 14 psychology video, and this week we were to talk about different things we found interesting in this chapter about psychological disorders. Now, in my family, we personally have intermittent explosive disorder with my nephew. I had a friend who had anorexia. Bipolar disorder has been seen in a friend of mine and in a relative of ours who has sadly passed away at about 5 years now. Though they are not diagnosed, PTSD between my two brothers through different life-changing events that they have been through. And lastly, anxiety with my grandma and me. Now, a big thing that was seen in this chapter with different psychological disorders is the different environments and genes that people have that make them have these disorders specifically. And I definitely know genes are a big part of it because I was the only kid in our family who acted the most like my grandma. So I know that I definitely have a decent amount of her genes, which is a blessing and a curse as it comes. Now, my grandma lived in a very strict household. Their parents were not afraid to beat their children when they did something wrong. And so I think a lot of her anxiety came from that and past generations who had it as well. And in order to sleep at night, my grandma actually drinks 2 Kessler and waters a day to help her get to bed. And she'll take a melatonin as well along with that alcohol, which is not safe, but for somebody who can't sleep, that's all that she can do in order to make sure she can get to bed and get the rest that she needs. Now, I definitely am not that side of things. I don't rely on alcohol at all to help me fall asleep, and I honestly don't have many sleep problems, but what is seen a lot with psychological disorders in this book is that many times people who do have a disorder will see it after a life-changing experience that they have to go through. And for me, that honestly was having to recognize that my childhood is over. I had to let it go, and that was not easy for me. I'm very close to my mom. I'm very close to my family. I don't really have friends. I do have a select few, but I would rather be close to family than friends. And having to leave my mom, who is literally my everything, my rock, my anchor, whatever you want to call it, she is my everything, was extremely difficult for me. And I started to have anxiety symptoms. And that included a lot of tightness in my throat, like I was going to stop breathing, and really bad nausea. I couldn't leave the house after my graduation party because that was my last ounce of something I could hold on to believe that I was still in my childhood years and I wasn't going to become an adult. But it's over, and I had to accept it, and signing up for classes and now signing up for classes again, those symptoms have come back, and I still get tightness of the throat. I still get really bad nauseousness, and it's just something that I have to get medicine for. We're in the process of getting me medicine for it. I'm not horrible, and I'm not over the top with my anxiety, which is a huge blessing for me because I don't know how people would be able to handle a life like that. But I just need something that helps ease a little bit. For my grandma, that's alcohol, but for me, I'm trying to be better than my grandma and get medicine for it. And so that's kind of my little story about it is not technically a disorder. I'm not scientifically diagnosed with it yet, but I do know I have anxiety, and that is a story of mine that I kind of wanted to share. So I'm very curious to see what other people have, and I can't wait to read and respond to your posts.